Hey man, I just did my last day on my job. I just wanted to get on here and say, bro, when you got that gut feeling that you finna get fired, trust that feeling, bro. Let me give y'all a little story. Bro, I came in the job on my off day, bro. I wasn't even supposed to be at work this day. I came in this bitch on my off day. It's raining. It's finna be icy. Bro, I ended up coming to work 20 minutes late. Tell me why I finished my whole shift, the whole 8 hours. They pulled me in the goddamn office. Said, look, man, we gotta let you go. And I just thought to myself, like, damn, this is my first time getting fired. But I had this feeling in my heart that I was gonna get fired for like a week straight. I'm not finna lie. Bruh, I had been doing so much bullshit on the clock, bruh. But hear me out, though. There's a lesson in all of that. And I learned this lesson 6 months ago, so I'm gonna tell y'all that too. So my old boss, she used to go to my job and she breathed that bitch. I mean, like, for real. She would clock in early. She would stay late. She would make sure everybody cleaned up everything. And most importantly, she never complained. She even got hurt. This bitch busted her ass all over the floor. But guess what? They tried to pay this bitch not to come to work. They said, look, you got hurt on the clock, and we're willing to pay you not to work. We're gonna pay you to stay home. This bitch said, nah, I love this job. I'm gonna come to work anyway. And she was in that job on one leg. But guess what though? At the end of the day, when the boss got tired of her ass, he fired her. This lady was in that job. She worked at that same company for 26 years. 26 years. That's my life plus 6. And she stayed. She loved that job. She wasn't moving no higher. She got to the highest level she can get. But she was willing to stay through thick and thin. She ain't look for no job. She ain't even try to look for another job. She loved the job. And the job loved her because she was real compliant. But then one day, that job didn't love her no more. The day that job did not love her no more, they got rid of her ass like it was nothing. That lady told me she had 2 years left on the clock before she retired. She planned on retiring with that job. She didn't get to retire with that job. I'm 20 years old and I just wanted to let y'all know my lesson. Do not give no loyalty to these companies. Don't give no 2 weeks. That shit is all news. If you finna quit that job, quit that bitch. They ain't finna give you no 2-week notice. They don't give a fuck about your PTO you got stored. And they most definitely don't give a fuck if you like that bitch. Employee loyalty is a thing of the past. And it don't got nothing to do with the employees. It's the employers. Dumb niggas ain't even loyal to themselves. Now, I normally don't make voice videos. Y'all hardly hear my voice on this bitch. But I just wanted to get on here and say my lesson. Stay prayed up. And even on them days when the job real good, don't you ever forget. It only takes about 2 bad days and your ass is grand.
Wow. This guy right here. All right, you guys. Y'all know what to do. While I share my thoughts, get in the comment section. Let me know your take on this. So, always, right? They never tell us the reason why. But he kind of told on himself when he said he was doing a bunch of BS on the clock. So, they didn't fire you for no reason, sir. They fired you for a reason. And check this out. He was like, I went in, it was my day off or whatever, and I was late 20 minutes. But the minute you said your shift, that tells us everything we need to know about what happened, sir. What happened is you probably had a day off and they asked you to come in and you said, yeah, I'm going to come in. I'm going to make this extra money. That means you're now officially on the clock. That means you're officially on the schedule. That means this ain't no longer your day off, which means you actually need to be there on time. Now, I will say this. These jobs are definitely bold in the sense that they'll let you work a whole shift and then call you in that office before you go and send you on your way. Now that's diabolical. I definitely feel like the right thing to do. But again, it doesn't benefit them when they know, hey, we can get 8 hours out of this person before we send them on their way. And they don't mind paying you for the work. So to them, they feel like, yo, it makes sense. But from an employee's perspective, you don't really care about the fact that, yeah, you're going to get paid for that additional time that you just worked. It's like, yo, if I knew I was getting fired today, I wouldn't have worked at all for y'all. Like that. So I get where the employees come from. But let's talk about this. So many people talk about the employers and wanting to put the blame on the employers. And no, employers are not perfect. Employers definitely have their company's best interests before their employees. That is something that we know. So it's a delicate kind of game that we have to play, in the sense of you have to know how to be a benefit and an asset to that company, while also not putting yourself in a position to be taken advantage of by your employer that you're working with. Now, that situation that he gave of his old boss, that woman, she totally fumbled that and messed it up. See, that's where you start to put the job before yourself. No, you have to know when you have to put yourself first. And guess what? If you get injured or hurt on the job, that's definitely time for you to put yourself first. Like, you shouldn't be trying to come into nobody's job. Like he said, you working on one leg. And guess what? You're not likely going to perform the same way when you're injured as you did when you were whole. The fact that the job was willing to pay the woman while she recovered, that's what she should have did. I definitely feel like that was on her. Like that wasn't a smart move. But that should have been the lesson that he focused on. Not the lesson of F these jobs, don't do the right thing, don't give them a 2 weeks, just quit the job, just walk off, don't be loyal to them. No, bro, like you're 20 years old and you missed the whole damn message. The message just flew right over his head. The message is to not overcommit to these jobs, in the sense of putting them before yourself in situations where you and your family need to come first, especially your health. That's the real message. The message is you should never, ever, ever put yourself in a position where you showing up and working on this job and you know you're not at your best. You know that it could put you at risk of your employment, and you turn down the money. Like, what are we talking about? It's nothing wrong with being loyal to a job, but not loyal to the point where you no longer consider what's in your best interest when you need to do that. See, I believe the way to operate this, like I said, play that little delicate game, is this. You do your job, you show up, you be an asset to the company that you're working with, but you also need to be planning your next step. What if this doesn't work out? What if things don't go the way you want them to do? How are you going to pivot? I'm not saying you should be planning your escape or your exit. I'm just saying you should have in mind, or at least start thinking about what you're going to do next. And this is the reason why I say, in today's society that we live in, you can't just be dependent on a job alone by itself. Like you need some type of hybrid where you got your 9 to 5, you got your main gig, but then you're also doing something else, whether it's running your own business, whether it's another part-time job, whatever. Like, you need multiple sources of income. That is unquestionable, because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you do get laid off or you do get fired and you don't have something to kind of, cushion that blow, cushion that fall. And I'm just an advocate for not putting all your eggs in one basket. And if you're just relying like his ex-employer or his ex-manager or boss was, where she put all of her eggs in that basket of retiring with that company, well, what if that doesn't happen? How are you going to pivot? You have to prepare. You get the job, but then you got to prepare for what if it doesn't go the way you desire it to go in the long run. That's the reason why we can't have that short-term thinking. We got to start thinking further ahead. That's my take. Would love to know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already shared them, feel free to do so. Until next time, I'm Jay. Stay blessed.